I was 41 years old when I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the woman staring back at me. 20 years of marriage, 2 children, a beautiful house in the suburbs, and I was completely empty inside. That night when my husband came home and didn't even look at me, just like he always did, something inside me broke. I made a decision that everyone said I would regret. Today, at 87 years old, I can tell you one thing. It was the best choice I ever made in my life. And if you're feeling trapped in a relationship that doesn't make you happy, you need to hear what happened next. Let me take you back to 1980. Ronald Reagan had just been elected president, and I was living what everyone around me called the American dream. I had married at 20 years old, young, in love, full of hope. By the time I turned 41, I had 2 kids, a son who was 19 and a daughter who was 16. From the outside, everything looked perfect. My husband had a good job. We lived in a nice neighborhood. The bills were always paid. People would tell me how lucky I was, but here's what they didn't see. I didn't have access to our bank account. I had never seen a credit card with my name on it. Every single week, my husband would give me a set amount of cash for groceries, for household expenses. If I needed anything extra, anything at all, I had to ask him for permission. And he would look at the receipts, every single one, and question every purchase. Why did you buy this brand? The other one is cheaper. Do we really need this? It sounds small, doesn't it? But imagine living like that for 20 years. It wasn't just about money. He chose my clothes. Not directly, but he would criticize everything I wore until I learned to only buy things he approved of. He decided where we went, who we saw, what we did on weekends. When I mentioned wanting to take a class at the community college, he laughed. What for? You don't need that. You have everything you need right here. When old friends called, he would make comments afterward. She's not a good influence. Her marriage is falling apart. You don't need that negativity. Slowly, over the years, those friends stopped calling. I stopped calling them. I was completely isolated, and I didn't even realize it. The worst part, he never yelled. He never raised his hand to me. He was always calm, always rational. That's why it took me so long to understand what was happening. His criticisms were always wrapped in concern. I'm just trying to help you. I'm worried about you. You know you're not good with these things. After 20 years of hearing this, I believed it. I believed I wasn't smart enough to handle money. I believed I wasn't capable of making good decisions. I believed I was lucky to have a husband who took care of everything. But everything changed the year my daughter turned 16. I started noticing something that made my blood run cold. He was treating her exactly the way he treated me. She came home one day excited about a part-time job at the local library. She had filled out the application, had an interview scheduled. She was so proud of herself. My husband looked at her application and said, "You don't need to work. I provide everything you need. Besides, you'll just spend the money on nonsense. Focus on your studies." The light in her eyes went out. I saw it happen. A few weeks later, she wanted to wear a dress to a school dance. It was beautiful, nothing inappropriate, just a normal teenage dress. He looked at her and said, "That makes you look cheap. Go change." She went to her room and cried. I stood there, frozen, because I had heard those exact words 1,000 times in my life. Then came the college discussion. My daughter was smart, so smart. She wanted to study journalism, maybe go to a school in another state. He shut it down immediately. You'll go to the community college here. You'll live at home. Girls your age can't be trusted on their own. I watched my bright, ambitious daughter shrink a little more each day. One night I was tucking her into bed, something I still did sometimes, even though she was 16. She looked at me and said, "Mom, do you think Dad is right? Do you think I'm not smart enough to live on my own?" And in that moment, I saw myself at 20 years old asking the same questions, learning to make myself smaller, learning to believe I wasn't enough. That's when I knew. If I stayed, I wasn't just accepting this for myself anymore. I was teaching my daughter that this was normal, that this was what love looked like, that this was what she should accept from a future partner. I was handing her the same prison I had been living in. I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch her lose herself the way I had lost myself. The next morning, after my husband left for work, I sat at the kitchen table, and I made a decision. I was going to ask for a divorce, and I want you to understand, I was terrified. I had no money, no job, no college degree, no work experience. I had been a housewife for 20 years, but I kept thinking about my daughter's face, about that light going out in her eyes, and I knew I had to try. When I told him that evening, he actually laughed. He didn't get angry, he didn't yell, he just laughed. And he said, "You want a divorce? Go ahead, but let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to realize very quickly that you can't survive without me. You have no money, no education, no experience. You've never even had a job. You're going to come crawling back, and maybe I'll take you back. Maybe I won't." I moved out 2 weeks later with my daughter. My son, who was 19 and in college, he took his father's side. He called me selfish. He called me ungrateful. He said his father had given us everything and I was throwing it away. That hurt, more than anything my husband had said. We moved into a tiny 2-bedroom apartment in a building that had seen better days. I had exactly $300 that I had saved secretly over the previous year, hiding $5 or $10 here and there from the grocery money. That was it. That was everything I had in the world. The people at church stopped talking to me. Our neighbors whispered. Even my own sister said, "He never hit you. He never cheated on you. He provided for you. What more do you want?" Nobody understood. This was 1980. People didn't talk about emotional abuse. They didn't talk about financial control. If there were no bruises, it wasn't abuse. There were so many nights in that first year when I lay awake thinking he was right, thinking I had made a terrible mistake, thinking I wouldn't make it. I was 42 years old, looking for my first job ever, competing with people half my age. I must have filled out 50 applications. Do you know how many callbacks I got? 3. I ended up taking a job as a receptionist at a dental office. The pay was barely enough to cover rent and food. But you know what? It was my money. I earned it. Nobody could tell me how to spend it. That first paycheck, I held it in my hands and I cried. It had my name on it. My name. At night after my daughter went to bed, I studied. I had enrolled in community college courses, business administration. I was 43 years old, sitting in classrooms with kids fresh out of high school. I felt ancient. I felt stupid, but I kept going. My daughter watched all of this. She saw me exhausted, saw me struggling, saw me cry sometimes. but she also saw me grow. She saw me stand up straighter. She saw me smile, really smile, for the first time in years. One night she hugged me and said, "Mom, I get it now. I get why you left." Therapy helped. A counselor at a women's center explained to me what coercive control was. She explained that abuse doesn't always look like violence. She helped me see that the man I had been married to had systematically broken down my sense of self over 20 years. She helped me understand that none of it was my fault. That recognition, that validation, it saved me. I reconnected with old friends, women I hadn't spoken to in years. They welcomed me back with open arms. I couldn't believe how much I had missed having friends, having my own life, having conversations that weren't monitored. By my third year on my own, I had been promoted twice. I was managing the dental office. I had my own bank account with money I had saved. I had a credit card in my name. I had bought a used car. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. My daughter had graduated high school and gotten a full scholarship to a journalism program. She was thriving. We were making it. We were more than making it. And then something happened that I never expected. I met someone. His name was James. He was a dental supply sales rep who came to the office regularly. We talked sometimes, just casual conversation. He was kind. He made me laugh. One day he asked if I wanted to get coffee after work. I almost said no. I was terrified. I was 45 years old, divorced, still figuring out who I was. But something made me say yes. That coffee turned into dinner. That dinner turned into another dinner. And slowly, carefully, I let myself open up again. The difference was staggering. James treated me like an equal. When I talked, he listened, actually listened. He asked my opinion and cared about my answer. He celebrated my work promotions. He encouraged me to keep taking classes. When I said I was thinking about getting my bachelor's degree, he said, "That's amazing. You should absolutely do it." He never once told me what to wear. He never questioned how I spent my money. He never made me feel small. When I had a bad day, he held me. When I had a good day, he was genuinely happy for me. This was what partnership felt like. This was what respect felt like. I remember the moment I realized I was in love with him. We were grocery shopping together, something so ordinary, and he asked which brand of coffee I preferred. It was such a simple question, but I started crying right there in the coffee aisle. He was asking what I wanted. My preference mattered. For 20 years, nobody had asked what I wanted. James looked at me confused, worried he had done something wrong. I told him, "You have no idea what you just gave me." I didn't fully explain it right then, but later I did. I told him everything about my marriage, about the control, about learning to disappear. He held my hand and said, "You never have to disappear again. I love exactly who you are." We were together for 30 years, 30 beautiful years, until he passed away when I was 75. Those 3 decades with James were filled with more joy, more love, more genuine partnership than I had experienced in my entire life before him. We traveled, we laughed, we built a life together where both of us could be fully ourselves. People sometimes ask me if I regret the 20 years I spent in my first marriage. Here's my answer. I regret staying as long as I did, but I don't regret leaving when I did, because leaving saved 2 lives, mine and my daughter's. My son eventually came around. It took him almost 5 years, but he apologized. He said, "Mom, I didn't understand. I was young. I only saw that Dad provided money, but I didn't see what it cost you. I'm sorry. We rebuilt our relationship. He's in his 60s now, and we talk every week. My daughter is in her 60s too. She became an investigative journalist, just like she dreamed. She's been married for 35 years to a man who supports her career, who does half the housework, who treats her as an equal partner. She told me once, "Mom, seeing you leave taught me what I should never accept. You gave me the blueprint for standing up for myself." I'm 87 years old now, and I'm telling you this story because I need you to hear it. If you're in a relationship where someone controls your money, controls your choices, controls your life, that's not love. If someone makes you feel stupid, incapable, or less than, that's not love. If you need permission to exist, that's not love. And here's what I really want you to understand. It doesn't matter if they never hit you. It doesn't matter if they provide financially. It doesn't matter if everyone else thinks you have it good. If you feel trapped, if you feel small, if you've lost yourself, you have every right to leave. I left at 41. People told me I was too old to start over. People told me I'd never make it. People told me I was throwing away my life. But you know what? Those next 46 years were the best years of my life. The years I built with my own hands, with my own choices, with my own voice. 41 isn't old. 50 isn't old. 60 isn't old. You can start over as many times as you need to. You can rebuild. You can rediscover who you are underneath all those years of being told who you should be. I didn't leave because I stopped loving him. I left because I started loving myself. And I wanted my daughter to learn to love herself too. I wanted to break the cycle, and I did. So if someone's listening to this right now and seeing themselves in my story, if you're feeling what I felt, please don't wait 20 years like I did. You deserve more. You deserve partnership, respect, freedom, joy. And it's never, ever too late to choose yourself. I'm 87 years old, and I'm here to tell you, the life you're dreaming of, the freedom you're scared to reach for, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. And you are stronger than you think you are. Thank you for listening to my story.